So I've been talking about doing this for a while, and haven't done it because I know there's other videos out there. But I know there was questions about like reading telemetry and basic telemetry, and I use the ESports Racing Group workbook, and they have basically have a free one available. They also have like forum posts. They've made videos in the past on setups. They have they'll sit down with you and do sessions, like one-on-one sessions to teach you or work on your setup or whatever the case may be. They're really good guys with a lot of knowledge, and it's really cool that they help like they do. But anyway, you got to use an older version of Motec, and they actually have one available on the site at esportsracinggroup.com, because the newer versions won't work with the workbook currently. But I use the ERG workbook right there. Anyway, I ran some laps at Texas in the Xfinity cars. I work in primarily. And I did that in the fixed setup, just to take a look at what's going on, and just wanted to help make kind of sense of what's going on. So if you actually look over here, kind of where the mouse is, this blue down arrow where it says negative 0.1, what this represents is the lowest point on the track. And if you actually hover over that, it'll actually show you with that blue line right in front of turn 2 where that mark is. You can see the center front splitter right height there. Same thing, that's where it's hitting, and this lowest point is 0.1, so it's actually not hitting. And then you can see the right side, the right splitter is only at 0.1 at the lowest point at any point around the track, and you can see where that is originally. You see it might get close over here, but not exactly. You can click and kind of drag, and you'll be able to see over here where it is at that point in time. So you can kind of go through here and see, how low you get. You just got to go kind of slowly. You can also hit the play button up here, and it'll kind of scroll through, so you can watch for like a negative sign just to see if it hits anywhere. It is okay to hit the ground every once in a while. You just don't want it to hit to a point that it throws the car around a lot, or you're hitting consistently a lot. You can kind of see over here, we're close. We hit, we hit, we hit, we hit, we hit. So in 3 and 4. And this is represented wrong because it's a new track, new scan, so it's just not in Motec properly, I believe, because it should say turn 3 and 4 instead of just turn 1 and 2. But in 3 and 4, you can see that the left side is constantly on the track. This red arrow right here is the highest point at any point around the run. Same thing here. This is the center, front splitter, and then on the right side, again, just 2.3 is the highest. About the middle of the straightaway, and you can't expect the right heights to come up in the straightaways. That's extremely normal. I mean, that is going to happen. Unless you're quill binding, even then you might come up a little bit. For the most part, you're going to see a rise in the straightaways. This diamond, the yellow diamond, is showing your average ride heights. So what this is saying is at average you're about 1.0 above the track, or 0.9 on the left and 1.1 on the right. And so what I'll do is just try to get the I don't really worry about the center. The center will take care of itself. If you worry about the left side and the right side, I'll kind of watch for trying to make sure I'm not hitting too much. So maybe I need to stiffen up the left side just slightly with the shock springs, because that's primarily what we work with in the Xfinity cars, or even just run a stiffer spring. But if you look at the right side, on average it's zero point 0.2 higher than the left side, and it's still not even getting close enough to the ground. We could get it a little lower, so we would try to get our ride heights down. If you want to look at down here where it says front left and front right, what you can kind of see is basically the skirt, side skirt. It's not exactly the splitter. It's not the splitter at all. But those are represented up here. This is just kind of the front. I don't really pay too much attention to these. These down here, though, with this workbook and in that 4, that dotted line at the 4 right here, is what this is. Kind of hard to see, I believe, on the stream. What that 4 is basically the lowest point, or about where you want to shoot for the rear of the car. So this is what I use to kind of look at the rear. We don't, look at telemetry a whole lot for the rear of the car, as far as we can kind of see a lot of that from if it's sparking or not, if you're trying to get as low as possible. Or you can use this to kind of see where you're if you have it at 5 above, or 6, or wherever your average ride heights are. If they're like right at 6 and you're running faster lap times, you drop it a little bit and it slows for some reason, then you might be able to pay attention to that. This is really about the only thing that I really use telemetry for, though, is the ride heights, and primarily for the front of the car. You can use it for the rear, and we do sometimes, a decent bit. But the front is where we spend most of our time. It's one of the first things we do. Because that'll tell us kind of what the car is going to do. And of course, we've established a baseline of what we want to see in our cars. From track to track, it's just some things that vary based on the track that you go to. But for us, we're able to roll in with a base setup and just immediately just go to work sealing the nose, because that's the biggest thing. That's where a lot of your speed is, and what's going to help the car even drive a little bit better.